What is going on, everyone? Should the Houston Texans make a trade for a wide receiver? I think you have to. The NFL trade deadline is on November the 5th. We might see some moves in the next coming days. But with losing Stephon Diggs for the rest of the year due to a torn ACL, and with the other AFC teams making moves. The team you were playing tonight, the New York Jets, they traded for Devontae Adams. That made this game harder. You saw the Kansas City Chiefs, DeAndre Hopkins, the Buffalo Bills, Amari Cooper, the Baltimore Ravens, Deontay Johnson. At 6-2, sole possession of your division. Right now, the Houston Texans are the second seed in the AFC South. They need to be aware of what the other teams around them are doing also. But we are going to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Should and who should the Houston Texans be taking a look at? My name is Ruben Calvillo, and this is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. This episode was brought to you and powered by BetUS. They are giving you a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. On your second and third, it's a 125% bonus with promo code YouTube150. Currently, the Houston Texans are 1-point underdogs, but I think we're going to have a nice game tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This defense is firing on all cylinders. Now, let's jump into some trade targets for this Houston Texans team. Now, I personally think the Houston Texans should be looking for a trade. I am a fan of Xavier Hutchinson, John Mechie, Robert Woods, Tank Dell. You know, we also do get Nico Collins back next week, so the only guy that's out is Stephon Diggs. However, when you look at everyone else, guys, you have to compete with them. You have to stack talent on your roster. This is what you are supposed to do in C.J. Stroud's rookie year. Bring as much talent as you can to this team before you have to make C.J. Stroud the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And the fact that you're 6-2 and the second seed in the AFC, how can you not think about making a move, Houston? Let's talk about the offseason, because we saw Nick Caserio be aggressive. He got Stephon Diggs, Danielle Hunter, Joe Mixon, Danico Autry, Azeez Al-Shaair. Would I be surprised if Nick Caserio is aggressive this trade deadline? No. Let's talk about some of the big names, right? The three that stand out, the three that everyone's been talking about. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp. Now, I have no problem getting either of these guys, but it's going to cost you a second-round pick. It could potentially cost you a first-round pick for Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson. Chris Olave with the New Orleans Saints, year 1, 1,000 yards. Year 2, 1,100 yards. This season, 387 yards, 1 touchdown. He is coming off of a 100-yard performance against the Chargers. Garrett Wilson, who we are going to see tonight, 51 catches, 573 yards, 3 tutties this year, 2,000-yard season in his first 2 years. These Ohio State wide receivers, man, they're special. And then Cooper Kupp, the veteran, the slot god, this season, 23 catches, 198 yards, 2 tutties. I'm not going to give you his resume because you know how special he is. There will be a lot of draft capital if you get either of these guys. With two of them, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, you can have the conversation about an extension and potentially being a part of the future for the Houston Texans. I would be ecstatic if one of these three guys is a Houston Texan. However, I don't think it will, guys. As aggressive as I want Nick Caserio to be, I just think these three guys are kind of out of our price range, and I think the Houston Texans might have some better, cheaper options that can still be effective. But if they want to get out of these three guys, let's go ahead and go to the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. But let me know your thoughts on the top three guys, and let's get to some other targets and names that we can talk about. Now, the next three guys we are going to talk about are cheaper and more realistic options for the Houston Texans. According to Bleacher Report, one of them is Mike Williams from the New York Jets. We will be seeing him tonight. I am a fan of Mike Williams ever since he was a first-round pick out of Clemson during the Deshaun Watson days. I was banging on the table to find a way to reunite these two. It was going to be special. This season with the New York Jets, there's nothing to be excited about here stat-wise. 11 receptions, 160 yards, 0 touchdowns. We know that the New York Jets just got Davante Adams, and as soon as that happened, everyone was expecting Mike Williams to be on the trade market. But here's what Mike Williams had to say. In the first 4 games of the season, Williams looked like a useful number 3 target for the Jets. He caught 10 passes for 145 yards, putting him in a good offensive environment with a better quarterback like Stroud could elevate Williams' game. Trading Williams shouldn't be too much of an obstacle since he is playing on a 1-year contract worth a $1.3 million base salary. He is a big body receiver who could win contested catches, even as age and injuries have made him less of a deep threat than when he was at his peak with the Los Angeles Chargers. Could Mike Williams revive his career? I'm not so sure. However, this is a move that I could see the Houston Texans making, right? I wouldn't mind 2 6+ wide receivers on the outside who could go up and get them right. Nico and Mike Williams on the outside, and Tank and and Dalton Schultz working the middle of the field. It's just not, it's not sexy. And, sometimes not sexy is okay. However, a name like Mike Williams, I don't think would excite the fans. Let me know in the comments down below. The second name that Bleacher Report mentions, Kendrick Bourne. Here's what they have to say. Bourne is still working his way back into game shape after starting the season on the physically unable to perform list due to a torn ACL suffered in Week 8 last year. The 29-year-old played a season-high 52 snaps on Sunday's win over the Jets, though he didn't catch a pass on 3 targets. Since the Texans know they can get Collins back sooner than later, pursuing a possession receiver like Bourne to be a go-to target on third downs might be a better strategy than trying to hit a home run on a bigger name like Williams. Bourne had 4 touchdown catches in just 8 games last season for a Patriots team that had the second worst offense by points per game in the NFL. He's another physical, winning traffic style player that a quarterback like Stroud with pinpoint accuracy could take advantage of if he gets brought in. His stats on the year, just 4 receptions, 29 yards. Last year, 37 catches, 406 yards. His best season was in 2021, 800 yards and 5 touchdowns off of 55 catches. A New England guy, there might be some, I'm pretty sure there is a connection with general manager Nick Caserio. A third down target is something that I wouldn't mind. We know how good Robert Woods is on third down. But with Nico Collins back, man, I still want to bring in someone else to kind of give me a little bit of, relief, right? Let me feel comfortable that I brought someone in, because who knows if Nico Collins is going to be 100% out the way. We heard Julian Edelman say and J.J. Redick say that, when you go through a hamstring injury, there is a mental hurdle that you have to go through, and that could take weeks. So bringing in a possession wide receiver like Kendrick Bourne, hey, I 100% believe it could be cheap. It could be cheap AF. Like I said, it's not sexy, but it will be a move I understand. Now, the last guy they mentioned, I think, would be a sexy get, and that is Darius Slayton from the New York Jets. It's hard to know how good Slayton really is because the infrastructure around him with the Giants has been a mess for most of his tenure. He's on pace for a career-high 893 receiving yards and has surpassed the 700-yard mark in every season he's played at least 14 games. One executive told The Athletic that Slayton is a player you add that fortifies your group and you feel good about it. Because of his track record with the Giants, Slayton's projected trade value falls between a 6th or 7th round draft pick. Putting Slayton in a situation with Collins as the number 1 clear option could open things up for him to really take off in a way that he hasn't been able to with the Giants. Now, I think this could be a great get. Darius Slayton this year off of 29 catches, 420 yards, 1 touchdown. We know how horrible the New York Jets are, but let's look at Darius Slayton's resume. 770 yards last year off of 50 catches. 772 yards off of 40 catches and 22. He was hurt in 2021, only 329 yards. In 2020, 751 yards. His rookie year, 740 yards, 8 tutties. Maybe there is something in Darius Slayton that has yet to be untapped. If any quarterback could take advantage of that, it is CJ Stroud. I think Darius Slayton could come in and have an immediate impact for this Houston Texans team, for this Houston Texans offense. And I don't think it will cost you a lot, right? Kind of what the Ravens did with Deontay Johnson. With that being said, guys, if there is a move that is going to be made, I would love Darius Slayton on the Houston Texans. But you guys let me know in the comments down below for more Houston Texans content. Just feel free to come back and follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day. This episode was brought to you and powered by BetUS.